Okay, picture this, a huge stretch of water, so big you'd swear it was the ocean. That's the Great Lakes, where these massive ships are constantly moving, carrying all sorts of cargo. Now imagine you need to get a single letter, just one little piece of home, onto one of those ships while it's moving. It sounds totally impossible, right? Well, it's not. It's a story that happens every single day, and honestly, it is incredible. So, our story really kicks off with a young girl named Mary, and she's reading a letter. It's from her dad. He's a sailor, out on the lake somewhere. And his cell phone's broken, so he hasn't been able to call. But these words, they're like a warm hug coming from miles and miles away.
But then she gets to the bad news. Her dad's vacation, it's been delayed. He's not going to make it home for his own birthday. You could just see the disappointment as she tells her mom, Dad's going to miss his birthday with us. But almost immediately, that sadness turns into an idea, a spark. She's going to send him a birthday card.
And this is the big problem, isn't it? How in the world do you mail something to a moving target? Mary's wondering the exact same thing. She asks her mom, how will the car get to him? We don't even know where he is. And she's right, it seems impossible. I mean, sending a letter to a house is one thing, but to a giant freighter that could be anywhere on the Great Lakes, that is a whole different ballgame.
This is where things get really cool. Mary's mom lets her in on a secret of the Great Lakes. Did you know, she asks, that your daddy gets his mail by a pail? And no, that's not just a cute saying. It's a real, actual system for getting mail to sailors while their ships are still chugging along. It's called Mail by the Pail.
So, how does this whole thing work? Well, it all comes down to one very special, very tough little boat. Let's meet the hero of our story, a mighty mailboat called the J.W. Westcott II.
The Westcott is seriously one of a kind. It's the only boat in the entire United States that delivers official U.S. mail to ships while they're on the move. Get this, it even has its own special zip code, 48222. And this boat does not sleep. From early April all the way to mid-December, it's out there 24/7, in good weather and bad, delivering letters, packages, groceries, and yep, even the occasional pizza. It's basically a floating post office and a delivery service all rolled into one.
So the delivery itself, it's like a perfectly choreographed dance on the water. First, all the mail gets loaded onto the Westcott. Then, this little boat zips out onto the Detroit River to meet up with a ship that's like 100 times its size. The crew has to be so skilled to pull up alongside without a bump. A rope gets tossed down from the big ship, they hook on a pail full of mail, and it gets hoisted all the way up. It's that simple, and it's worked forever. To wrap it all up, the freighter gives a whistle blast. That's thank you, and the Westcott whistles right back. You're welcome. Now, this amazing service isn't some new thing. It is a tradition with a really long and incredible history. For more than 100 years, this system has been a lifeline, the one thing connecting sailors on the water to their families back on shore. So let's take a quick look at how it all got started.
The story begins way back in 1874. A guy named John W. Westcott started delivering messages to ships from a little rowboat. The idea was such a game changer that by 1895, the U.S. Postal Service made it official with a marine post office. Then, in 1948, the Westcott Company got the official contract, and they've been doing it ever since. But the history also has some real heartbreak. In 2001, the Westcott sank in a tragic accident, and 2 crew members lost their lives. But in an incredible show of resilience, the boat was raised, it was fixed up, and it was back in service the very next spring, carrying on its mission.
Okay, so now that we know this system and its amazing history, let's get back to Mary's birthday card. We're going to follow its journey, step by step, from her kitchen table all the way into her dad's hands out there on the water. So, first step, the address. Mary carefully writes her dad's name, the name of his ship, the SS Big Laker, and then the magic address, Detroit, Michigan, 48222. That's the mailboat's unique zip code. It's the secret key that makes this whole thing possible. 2 days later, Mary's card arrives at the Marine Post Office right on the Detroit River. And here, it gets sorted. And then it waits. It actually sits there for 4 more days, just waiting for one specific ship, the Big Laker, to steam its way down from the upper lakes and pass by.
And then, it's go time. The Big Laker is finally approaching. Murray's card is loaded onto the J.W. Westcott II, which zips out to meet the freighter. The card is popped into that special pail, it's hoisted up the side of that massive steel hull, and finally, it's delivered right into her father's hands. A birthday wish just traveled across miles of water.
And don't for a second think this tradition is lost on the sailors. Even today, with all our modern tech, Getting real physical mail is still the highlight of a trip. A question you hear all the time in the wheelhouse of these ships is, "Hey mate, what time will we be at the mailboat?" That anticipation, it just says everything about how much this connection really means. So it really leaves us with this one last thought. In an age of email and texts and video calls that are instant, why does this old-fashioned system of delivering a letter in a pail not only survive, but actually thrive? What is it about holding that physical card from home, delivered against all odds to a moving ship, that makes it truly priceless?